Hey guys, it's Becky. Aunt Beck's Creation here. I've got my Dollar Tree 1.5 reading glasses on. I went to the tutorial site, which is on Craftsters, and I'll put a link to it. I drew her pattern out according to the directions, except I made mine an inch deeper. Hers comes out 7 by 4, and I made this one 7 by 5. And what you do after you've drawn this pattern out, you cut 2 of fabric, 2 of lining, and I included 2 of a shirtweight interfacing for stability. And I've adhered it to the back of my main fabric. And I'll show you the difference. This is without interfacing, and this is with interfacing. See, it's a lot firmer. And I don't believe she called for it in her instructions, but I have found that this makes a bag that will stay sat up a little bit better than with no interfacing. So I've applied that to the back. It was an iron-on interfacing, shirt weight, and you need a 7-inch zipper, or however big a bag. You can make a bag any size you want. You just have to take into account as you're drawing the pattern out. Then she called for 2 1-inch squares of your main fabric, your main body fabric, the stuff that you'll see on the outside. And what you do is you put them face down on the end of your zipper on the outside, and then just stitch across to hold it in place. But don't go over your stoppers, because that'll break the needle on your machine, maybe damage your machine. Don't go over the metal. And you also don't want to damage the zipper's teeth where it actually works. And you do that at both ends. On the end where the zipper pull is, you have to open the zipper and apply this to the end, okay? All right, the next step is we're going to layer the fabric and the lining on this. I've got her tutorial right here because it's been a while since I made one. And the main tutorial to get it all printed off will take you 9 pieces of paper. All right. Sandwich your zipper between 1 outer piece and 1 lining piece that have the right sides together. Line the zipper up with the top. You will have little bits that stick out from the ends of the zipper. Don't worry about those, okay? So what we have here is you're going to sandwich the zipper in between. So this is the top of the bag, the long straight part. You're going to line that up on top and try to center it over the zipper. And you see how we've got little tabs sticking out? Don't worry about those, okay? And we're going to put the lining fabric down, then the zipper, and then this piece. And you'll keep the edges of the lining and the fabric together, and we're going to pin this all together. Now I'm going to be out of sight for y'all because I have to lay it down. But I kind of center that over that. Mainly I thought it would be fun just to chit-chat while I work because it's so hard to do. Trying to center it good. And then we'll just lay this down on top of that. Kind of matching up everything. I've got some pins here. Just going to stick a few in here. And I'm going to switch my foot out on my sewing machine to my zipper foot. Just so I can get a little bit closer. That's pretty good. Let me switch this out real quick. I love the snap-on feature. You don't have to unscrew a million things. We're just going to clip that on there. All right, and then we're going to going to just stitch this on here. That's not going to do. I've got to open that zipper to get that the pull out of the way. And when you get a little ways farther down as you're sewing, you're going to have to move the zipper pull again. You just don't want to sew over your teeth. I'm lining the edge of my foot up with the edge of the project. Okay? I'm going to do a couple stitches back. Alright, I'm getting close to where the pull is. I'm going to put my needle down so it's in the fabric, and then I can get between the layers and I can close the zipper back up again. Like so. Drop the foot down again and just finish sewing across. The reason I do a couple back stitches is it locks the stitching in place. Alright, now it says, go ahead, open these up, and see there's your zipper in the middle. This is the outside of your bag, that's the inside, so you're going to end up with your lining on the inside. And I'm just going to kind of finger press it for right now. And what I'll do after I get the other side sewn, I'm going to step out in the hallway and I'm going to press this with the iron, and then I'm going to top stitch right along the edge here. But let's go ahead and put this on together again. So this one's face down, then the zipper. And you kind of want the sides to be even, you know. Make sure your bag is lining up good. Right, and then this one face down. Okay. And I'll pin it in place. Alright, so they're all layered up together, the fabric and the lining. And I will go ahead and stitch this, and because we're coming from the other end, I won't have to move that, I won't have to move the pull until I get closer to the other end, because I'm starting at the opposite end of the zipper. Just want to make sure I'm not sewing through the teeth of the zipper, because that would not be good. I would have to go buy another zipper, and zippers are not cheap. I've been tempted to just go to the thrift store and find clothes with working zippers and buy them, and if it was something I didn't like, I'd still have the zipper, which would cost me less than needle is in the thread, the foot is picked up, just so I can get that zipper open. Line everything back up, drop the foot, finish stitching across. Got a little wonky there, might have to go back and stitch again. Let me, sometimes that happens when I get to talking and I'm not paying attention. That's why I have to go quiet. I'm concentrating that hard. Alright, let's see what happened here. I want to peek and see where my zipper teeth are. Okay. They're right there. what has happened now. The thread's caught on it. There we go. Oh, I can't go any higher. I keep trying to lift it higher. Silly Becky. Okay, whoops. And I didn't bother to wind the bobbin to match because the top stitching I'll make sure is on the top side. I'm just using up some thread I had on this bobbin already. I'm being cheap. Plus I don't have any more bobbins for this machine at the moment. Alright, I'm going to turn y'all off. I'll be right back. I'm going to go in the hallway and press this out gently. Be right back. Okay, I'm back, and here it is, all pressed out. Okay, now I'm just going to edge stitch along the top just to give it a little bit of finished edge. I am not going all the way to the end here because you've got to be able to get this open to sew your facings together and your linings together. So I'm going to start at the very end of the zipper here and come up through, okay? I gotta move the foot over for this side. Okay. Let's move the pull out of the way. And we'll start right there at the edge. Okay. I want to get that thread out of the way so I'm not getting caught on it again. Needle down, foot up, just so I can close this zipper again and get the pull out of my way if I can. There we go. Because you most definitely do not want to sew through the pull. That would break a needle. The way to get the best finish on any project is sewing evenly. Don't try to go too fast all at once. Oh, my nose. And pressing. Don't be afraid to use your iron. After every seam, press to set your stitches in, to give you a nice finish at the end. And I know some people will sew over pins. I don't do that. I've one time saw a nasty accident that involved pins, and ever since then, no way. I take them suckers out. Now my sister, she doesn't. She's a brave soul. But if you saw the mangled mess you can end up with mishaps with pins, it's no fun. Just me saying, safety conscious me. This is probably going to be a little bit longer video with it pieced together. I just think it's easier to understand if you get it all at once instead of having to watch, you know, from one video to the next. And I hope you all don't mind just chit-chatting with me and watching me sew from a distance. I thought about trying to get close-ups, but that's a lot of extra work that I don't really have time for today. But I did want to show this bag. This is a lovely gift for teenagers or your best friend or whatever at Christmas. Okay, I'm going to get up here so I can show you the top stitching. See the top stitching on that? Along there and there. It's the little things like that that make your project look like you've spent a fortune on it. Okay? Now, I did that. Now we're going to pull these bits together. Okay? So put your right sides together of your outer fabric, and you're going to sew from here to the cutout corner. Don't cut that, don't do anything with that yet. Then you're going to sew along here and then down this side. And you'll do the same on the lining, except on the lining, you are going to leave an opening for turning it right side out. And you have to remember to open your zipper. Okay, I should have done that before I started pinning these. Becky. I think I can still do it. So I haven't pinned the sides. Get the zipper open or you'll be sewing it like closed. Okay, so match your edges up here. Oops. Uh-oh. Let's see here. I'm going to match this bottom part up first here. I know, shouldn't put pins in my mouth. But like if I'm working on a large project, like I made my sister a large gown one time and I had to hand stitch all this trim on. It was yards and yards of trim. If I can find the pictures, I'll show you all the pictures sometime of the gown. I don't know if she even wears it anymore because she's lost a lot of weight since I made that. But she's in the SCA and she needed some garb for a royal event because she was nominated Baroness or something. So, all right. So go ahead and pin your other side. What I'm doing is I'm matching the lower corners together. You'll want to sew the sides. Both sides. Go ahead and sew them all the way. But on the bottom, you're going to sew in just a little bit from each end. And what I do to remind myself not to go all the way across, where I'm going to stop sewing to leave an opening, I put 2 pins. And I just do that for me because sometimes when I get on a roll, I just go brrr. Scott says it's funny to watch me sew because I will go fast. But I have 40-something years of experience. But when you're first learning to sew, don't be afraid to go slow. You'll come out with better results. And as you get more comfortable with your machine, reading patterns, I mean, I could probably put a shirt together now without looking at a pattern because I've made so many over the years. I know the steps. I know I hate set-in sleeves with a passion. I will put my sleeves in before I do my side seams every time now. I hate set-in sleeves. I don't know if there's some trick to them or what, but they're not my cup of tea. And I'm going to sew up to the zipper part and stop. I'm going to push these over and then restart again and sew around. All right, so I need to switch back to my regular sewing foot, which I just dropped in here. No, I didn't. Here it is. There we go. Hopefully I can get this all sewn together. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to actually start sewing this one on this side here. And I'm going to just do probably a 1/4 inch seam. Let's see, they had me add what, 3/8? Actually, they're not even doing 3/8 inch seam. I don't know. We're going to go with the seam that I'm doing. I'm going a little bit slower than I normally would, just so I'm not like drowning y'all out. Alright, I'm going to just take this all the way up here. And as far up as I can get. And then we'll do a stop stitch. bottom here. Yep, I almost threw my pin in the trash. That wouldn't be good. This machine doesn't go as fast. Now my old dressmaker, I can burn up some fabric with that. This one just does not like to go fast. There we go. That's what that button does. It speeds it up. I didn't do any stop stitching on the front. Normally I wouldn't clip the thread, I'd just pull the fabric around, but it'll be all right. We'll get it all done. Do a little stay stitch here. All right. So read your manual, I guess, is the lesson on the speed control, and know if your machine can be set to go faster or slower. The fact that this one can be set to go slower is a good thing to know if I'm going to teach my nieces or anything to sew, because I can slow them down and they won't know it. Alright, so that's the outer fabric. You know, the fabric you're going to see all the time. I'm hoping I'm hitting the trash. If not, it'll be on the floor. So on the outer fabric, I sewed from the zipper to the end over here. Leave this empty. Sew across, just like I did the little bag I did, you know, last month. Okay, now I'm going to do the same on this other side. Remember, this side's going to be a little bit more flimsy because it does not have interfacing. Now, if you wanted it super, you know, sturdy, you could add interfacing to both pieces. It's just keep in mind, you're going to have to sew through all those thicknesses. I actually have a little thing here on the side of my machine that I can cut these off with. Be a little easier than grabbing them scissors every time. Alright, I'm going to do the other side. Okay. A couple back stitches. I hope everybody's ready for Christmas. I haven't run to Ollie's yet. I'm going to do that later today. I might wait until Scott can go with me, because he likes to go to Ollie's too. A lot will depend on how tired he is. Yesterday when he got home from work, it was bad. He was really exhausted, and the night before we'd gone over to his mother's. She had some outlets that had failed, and her little space heater had about caught on fire. She had a black outlet, and the plug on the thing was black, like it was on the verge of, you know, bursting into flames. So he started replacing outlets in that room for her, and he got to a point, and he said it'll only take an hour, and then he came and got me, because we live in the same neighborhood as his mom. He came and got me. I think I've run out of bobbin. No, not quite yet. He came and got me and said he needed someone to hold the flashlight, because by that time it had gotten dark, and he had lost neutral on the outlets upstairs. When they plugged the heater back in, and he lost neutral. So our neighbor is an electrician, so he went and picked Jared's brain for a minute, and come to find out it was the outlet on the same line, you know, on the same run of wire from the box, but it was downstairs in her entry, so he had to replace that outlet too, and then everything's working fine now. But that could have caused a fire too. When he went to take that outlet out, one of the neutral wires, it just fell out of the switch, which was really scary. That could have caused a fire really bad. Okay, now what you're going to do before you do the magical turn, you're going to pull these apart at the corner here, the two layers, and match. Go ahead and let your bottom seam go one way and your side seam go the other. And I do that just to reduce bulk. And what this does is this is going to create your squared bottom. Okay, see how I've pinned that? And you're going to do that on the lining and on your main fabric. You can hear the trash people coming around. I got our trash out last night, so I don't have to run and get it out. All right, and I'm going to pin those and stitch those. And then we can turn it right side out, and it's just about a bag. Remember, we've left the hole down here in the bottom of the lining. That's for turning out. The zipper is open, so we're not going to mess up on that. I did that one time. It was not pleasant. Especially with your outer fabric, you want the two seams going, you know, your selvage piece of the seam. You want them going in opposite directions because that'll create a horribly bulky point on there. Okay. This is the cutest bag, you guys. I just love to make these. I made these for my sister-in-laws and my nieces, my teenage nieces, one Christmas, back when we all still did gifts. But the family's just too big now. Too big to do that many gifts. I mean, I'd try to do it if I was home full time, which I will be now. But every year there's more people, so you can't do for everybody and be financially secure. And I think they all understand because we're all in the same boat. Why won't you go up over that? And I'm just stitching across these at the same width I did the sides and the bottoms. I'll clip these off here. And come over here and do this one. Ow! You're basically just closing up your corners now. We'll pull those pins out. Oop. I've got thread everywhere, you guys. It's all right. The kitten will come flying through the room. She'll have it hanging off from her like ribbons. She has really come out of herself now that she's settled in. Boy, she's a little wild child. This is a little bit harder to get a hold of because of no interfacing in it. Sorry about the trash truck, guys. I got to thinking last night, before I leave completely from work, I should probably get some boxes to pack stuff in. Tomorrow's truck day. It's my last truck with Michaels. And then Friday will be my last day, and my co-workers want to take me out to eat. And I'm pretty sure we're going to Denny's because that's where I told them I'd like to go. It's not very expensive, and the staff there is always so nice. And we all like to go there. And I got to make sure I get numbers and phone numbers and addresses and email and all that from everybody that I would like to stay in touch with, especially since I'm moving away. Life's all about changes, isn't it? I'm really dreading moving all this stuff, you guys. I really am. So much stuff. Okay. Now for the big reveal. The only thing left to do is to stitch our hole in the bottom. So go to the hole in the bottom, and you're going to reach all the way up through past the zipper opening and just start pulling your bag to the right side. I always think this is so cool. Okay, and get this all right side out until you kind of like this. And then what you're going to do, go ahead and pull your corners out of the way. All right. Before I seal this up with some stitching, I'm going to take and make sure my corners of my bag are turned all the way out. And what I do is I usually have there's like a little wooden bone folder, but I'm going to use the back of this old seam ripper. This is the seam ripper I started learning to sew with in home ec that many years ago. It's dull as it can be. It don't hardly cut threads, so I just use the other end of it to turn things right side out. And I'm just working the corners out with my fingers. That one turned pretty good. And then you want to push this up here. All right. So that's pretty good. And now I got my corners out of the way. And you can't really, you could sew this by hand, but nobody's going to see this. So what I do, nobody's going to see this unless they go looking. I'm just going to sew kind of close to the edge. And you'll see this in bags made in the stores too. I just want to see where I can stop sewing. And it kind of just lays flat because the seam is just, by nature, the fabric will just do that. Be nice and smooth. And that's where you should really have matching thread. Because if I had pink in it, you wouldn't even see that. But it's going to be down in the bag. I'm going to have to get back on the heating pad. My back is just screaming today. Then you just push your corners into the corners of the bag of your lining. And you zip it up. Like so. There you go. It's a makeup bag. And then I'll do my bobble thing here, and we'll do that in another video. Okay? So, I hope that the girl that I got, she was my first pull, and the other two girls are just, I'm doing angel gifting because nobody pulled their names. So anyway, I hope y'all liked watching that. I'm sorry it's going to be kind of long, but it's to be expected when you're working on a main project. Talk to you guys later. Bye.